Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to talk about the house that Dungeons and Dragons built, Legends of Vox Machina, and Season 1, Episode 11, and today I'm going to tell you the best moment in Season 1, Episode 11 of the Amazon Prime show, created by Matt Mercer to capture the adventure and, the excitement that is existent in, well-crafted Dungeons and Dragons tales. There's really no, Gary gave us the Dungeons and Dragons Saturday morning cartoon from 1983 to 1986, and Matthew Mercer is echoing Gary Gygax's work with his own Dungeons and Dragons animated show, and he's doing a tremendous job. So let me tell you the best moment in Season 1, Episode 11. It is when Grog, Strongjaw, who is voiced by Travis Willingham, he is a Goliath barbarian fighter, and he specifically fights Silas Briarwood. By the way, spoilers for all of Season 1 Vox Machina in this content. So basically, you have this situation where Grog Strongjaw, this gigantic, he's literally a half giant, right? So that's what a Goliath is in Dungeons and Dragons. They're human and giant, right? Half giants. And actually, I think they may I think they're also kind of connected to mountains and stuff. But they're very interesting, and of course they're like a very strong build choice for barbarians specifically. So Grog, so everybody's fighting Delilah Briarwood, who is a necromancer, and her husband Silas Briarwood, who's just a straight up vampire. That's all he is. He's just straight up vampire, but he's very fast, very strong, very powerful, very deadly, right? And so Grog jumps in to fight him, right? And and of course the Silas Briarwood and Delilah are so strong and powerful that it takes the entire team to fight them. So Grog comes up, and he comes up at the end, okay? And what Grog does is he takes his double-headed axe that is on a spear, that is essentially on a spear stick, right? So it's actually on a 10-foot pole. So essentially, he takes a gigantic double-sided axe, which is a great weapon, right? And going to be able to deal a lot of damage. And if he hits anything that's not a vampire, this thing's going to take a limb off or decapitate somebody. It's a truly deadly weapon, right? But what's really interesting is, so Grog fights Silas Briarwood, and it is a fantastic fight. And basically, Grog fights him one-on-one, and Grog, and Silas is using you could call it a greatsword. It's either a long sword or a greatsword. And you know what? I think it's a greatsword. So I think Silas is using a greatsword, and it's magical. And actually, when he hits Grog, it's clear that the sword is putting hit points back into Silas whenever he hits Grog. And he hits Grog multiple times. One of the best thing about Grog Strongjaw is he's a fighter. He goes right up on the front line. He takes the hits, and he loses a lot of hit points, and he uses his hit points as a resource, right? He and essentially he knows that Pike Trickfoot, he's losing half to 3/4 of his hit points in every match, taking devastating wounds, because he knows Pike Trickfoot is going to be there to heal him very, very soon after, right? So that's significant. It's significant to understand that, and it's a beautiful depiction of Dungeons and Dragons combat specifically. And if you watch carefully, a lot of people are saying, this is Pathfinder. It could fit anything. It could be an OSE tale. Can it? It very clearly looks like short rest, healing. Literally, the HP counts look direct from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, right? So that's one of the reasons why I say Legends of Vox Machina is the house that Dungeons & Dragons built. In the vast majority of it, you see Mercer channeling Gygax. That's what it is. And I think if it succeeds, that's going to be the reason why. If it fails, we got to have another conversation. By the way, I think it is succeeding, right? Like, I think, and it's not succeeding because it's the best show in the world. It's very good. I'm very happy with it. I'm very excited about it, right? But one of the things is, how and why is it doing well? I think the biggest thing is there are tons of streamers out there. Amazon Prime needs content. This is doing its job. I think it's putting up some numbers. It's getting people to watch, right? It didn't cost a ton, right? And I think it's going to get a season 2. Well, we already know it's getting a season 2. The question is if it'll go for a season 3 or 3 and 4. And good news for Critters, and much more importantly for all Dungeons and Dragons fans. Basically, I think Amazon Prime will pick this up, or this is an unbelievably strong candidate to be picked up by some other network, exactly like what happened with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Great show. No reason it should have been canceled. But it was canceled, and it was immediately picked up by, I think it was on maybe ABC at one point, and it went to NBC, or but it definitely switched owners and shifted. So that that's very good. So this was awesome. The other thing I really loved was Grog fights Silas and then gets to the point where he actually captures Silas and is holding him. And Keyleth finally gets her stuff together enough to be like, oh, woe is me, I'm not good at anything. And is like, oh, hey, I'm on a functioning team. Maybe I should shut my mouth and get to work. Right? Like, nobody's got time for my hemming and hawing, right? Like, let's get some stuff done here, right? Like, and so she, Keyleth wakes up and just accepts what she is, which is an adventurer. Not sure why she didn't do that on episode 1. And then at that point, she channels light through the sun tree, and he's a vampire, and she literally just melts him with sunlight from which she channels through the sun tree. And get this, Grog stays right there and gets hit with a ton of radiant damage and takes the hit. And I think that's the biggest thing is, if you watch this, you see very clearly that these characters are modeling Dungeons and Dragons characters, with the one exception of Percy DeRollo, which, of course, it's unfortunate Taliesin Jaffe didn't get the memo that everybody else did and just run a Dungeons and Dragons character. Would have been a lot better show. A whole bunch of problems would have been solved, but here we are. And that's okay, because, when we look at these shows, is there more good than bad? And there's definitely more good than bad here. I think Grog Strongjaw I really think that Grog Strongjaw besting Silas Briarwood in combat and really just taking it to him and delivering what needs to, and delivering the damage that's done, and allowing Keyleth to hit him with the power of the Sun Tree is the best moment in Season 1, Episode 11. What do you think is the best moment in Season 1, Episode 11? And what did you think of the action scene of Grog fighting Silas Briarwood? Love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.